Howdy, and welcome to the Feed Bandit Podcast, where we talk all things hunting and introduce you to the most innovative hunting gear and services. Here are your hosts, Jimmy Byrne and Richard Kinchlow. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit Podcast. Jimmy here, and the person you heard snorting there in the background, that was Richard. How you doing?
I'm good. I got a little bit of an allergy flare up today. I don't know. I think I'm readjusting to the different climate here since I've been spent the last 5 days in the Sunshine State. So, yeah.
Well, just speaking of the climate, God,
Yep.
And I know we've mentioned it many times here this winter, but so it's like 40 degrees today. It'll be 70 on Sunday. I mean, good God.
Oh, no.
Your system must be going haywire. And why is that? Where were you?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's funny you should mention that. Well, first
Hey, what
of
a
all,
segue.
and the temperatures changing like that is why the polar bears are dying. They're eating Arctic puffins and seals on the icebergs, and then it turns 70 in Antarctica, and they all melt and die. It's a tragedy. I was in Disney World. Yeah, it was. Yeah, oh golly, it was good. It was fun. With an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old, it's going to Disney World. Unless you're one of those 8 million adults that we saw, and I'm just like, man, hey, each to each their own, but you picked to come here, where there's diapers in every trash can, screaming kids, and
you mean adults?
Yeah.
The millions of adults you saw that didn't have kids with them?
Oh yeah. I'm like, you intentionally came here? I mean, good for you, but I'm just not. I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody, of course, but it was great, and it was definitely magical. But I mean, every morning I woke up just remember that feeling you get before you're about to go 2-a-days, where you were contemplating throwing yourself off a bridge or.
Oh my God! I can't believe you said that because 2 nights ago.
Oh no!
2 nights ago, I had the most vivid dream. And it lasted all night. Like, I didn't wake up or anything. And I was back at the beginning of football season, senior year.
Oh, yeah.
And just thinking, okay. And I remember, speaking of 2 days, in the dream, we just got done with practice is where it started. And I remember sitting in the locker room, and I distinctly remember asking, so are we having 2-a-days? 2-a-days? So funny you say
that. But we're doing 5-a-days. Yeah, I used to have those dreams up until about 2 years ago. Every July, I would have a dream, that we would go to this camp. It's about all I'll tell you about. It was in East Texas, and it made me want to throw myself off a pine tree. It was awful. God, it was awful. And we would stay in the East Texas. Well, back then it was East Texas or Commerce, East Texas A&M Commerce, whatever. Yeah. But my coach will come and pound on our door at 5:30. Dun dun dun. 1 day closer. And the guy was anyway. But talk about miserable. But anyway, so that's kind of what I felt like waking up in the morning. I was like, here we go, baby. Here we go. I get in the shower and I stretch because if you haven't been to Disney World, you strap your shoes on and you load up your backpack full of water and God only knows what's going on. God only knows what else. And you go and you're out there and you're doing your thing and it was warm and it was really funny because you could tell all the people that were from the north because, it was the high I think was about 70. I think it was about 70 and, but it was the feel like was 85 and you could just see these people like, oh my God, it's really hot, isn't it? Like, man, son, I'll show you hot.
Is it August here?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But we did all the usual stuff. It's a small world where you hear it's a small world for 10 minutes in every language you can imagine, and
then it's stuck in your head for 2 days.
Oh, terrible. I kept telling my girls, I'll give you a shiny quarter if you take a scoop full of that water down there. That's the same water it's been in this ride since I was in 6th grade when I came here. No takers there, but it was a good time. It was a good time. So checked that off the list. Definitely got some points to use towards some weekends. So I'm looking forward to the off season and getting after it.
Very good. So is this going to be an annual tradition?
No, sir. We went with the oldest and we went with the youngest. Dunzo. Yeah. I remember looking back at those magical gates and saying, son, I ain't never going to see you again. If I do, it'll be when I'm like 70 and I'm bringing my little scooter. It's going to be fantastic.
Ride a rascal
drive around oh, absolutely. A beer and a turkey leg. And
yeah.
It'll be,
so
dude,
let me ask
okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, hold on. Speaking of a rascal, crazy thing. So we're at Hollywood Studios, okay? And I know we're getting off in the woods here, but this is crazy. We're in Hollywood Studios, and we're waiting in line to see Olaf. It's just that stupid snowman thing who I can't stand. That's different.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, awful. Yeah.
Write that down.
So. Yeah. So we're waiting to see Olaf, and the line to see Olaf, it really isn't that deep, and it's one of these, they snake you around, right? And they've got these big metal poles, and then this chain link going, from whatever separate or between the poles, right? And so we're sitting there, and we're sitting kind of like with our back to like a little straightaway because the gate, it really wasn't a big line, so they opened up so you didn't have to zigzag so much. Well. I'm sitting there facing, kind of contemplating death and all that kind of fun stuff, and why am I sweating so bad and all that, and then all of a sudden I hear Julie go, my wife go, oh my God, and I see her and she has thrown her stuff on the ground, and she's got all of her weight and she is pushing on this rogue rascal, this old lady who forgot to take a right turn to go down the other column and has run over this poor little kid who couldn't speak English.
Oh my God.
So it was unbelievable. The rascal was on top of this kid. Not all the way, but he's like, he's speaking Spanish. I couldn't understand what he was saying, but I tell you one thing, he was not happy. And of course, his parents just sat there like, "Okay." I'm like, "What are you doing, dude?"
Were they like in shock?
I think they were. And Julie and I jumped into like lifeguard mode, and we were sitting there pushing this. And of course, the woman's like, "I can't move, Harold." I'm like, "God, Harold, what are we?" And he's like, "Maureen, what are you doing?" I'm like, "God, what the hell is going on here?" It was crazy. So she, if you can imagine an old lady on a scooter, she's kind of run over this kid. So I put my weight into it naturally, the old days. And
you got leverage, right?
Big time. I punched, separate, shuffle down the line. Yeah, big time. It all came back to me. Just going through all those stupid pins that we had to, with the fire beds and all that. Anyway. Yeah, so we're able to finally get the kid away, and he wasn't hurt, but the lady had these two, like chain slices in her her joints of her arms, and her husband was just like, "Oh my God!" And of course, she's screaming because she can't. I guess she just doesn't have the brain function or whatever to like let her fingers off the gas. So her husband has to like rip her hands away. God, wow. Damn, this thing I ever. Oh yeah, it was crazy. Huh. He's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Is he okay?" And of course, this kid's probably 12 and doesn't speak any English. So I kind of touch him on the shoulder. His parents still hadn't said anything. I touch him on the shoulder. I'm like, "Hey man, you okay?" And of course, he just kind of looks at me blank stare. I'm like, "Damn, he really doesn't understand anything." So I kind of move my leg up and down. I go, "Let me see you do it." And I was like, "Bien?" He's like, "Yeah, bien." I'm like, "Okay." He had a little cut, but God, it was crazy. Wow. Oh yeah, it was unbelievable.
Well, who knew? Who knew you'd come back a hero?
No, seriously, it really wasn't me. It was Julie. But we weren't approached by anybody in the park. I thought they were going to rename Olaf. My wife, right. call her Julie, or call it Julie. That stupid snowman. But anyway, yeah, a little crazy. But I'll tell you, it kind of it kind of woke me up. Like I was ready to live again. It was yeah.
You got a little adrenaline rush there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. It's like, wow.
you stop thinking about your lower back and
I
whatever.
did. I did. Well, or the fact that I don't want to take this backpack off because my fishing shirt underneath said backpack
Oh,
is
God.
completely soaked. I mean,
Right.
completely soaked. And of course, the moisture from my back was rolling down to my pants. I mean, you can only imagine.
Oh, God.
It's completely soaked. And I thought somebody called me out. I was like, "Yeah, I just took a swim. That's the reason why I'm soaked from head to toe."
Right.
Yeah.
That's good
No,
stuff.
it was a good preview. A good preview of things to come.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I can actually I'm picturing it happen. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
well, that's well, good job. Tell Julie, well done, and she deserves a medal.
She really does.
Yeah,
She really does. Instead, she got to meet that stupid snowman. So that was yeah. Yeah.
Now, let me just ask you one last thing before we
Uh-huh.
move on to
Yeah.
something else. Your back. Because
Yes.
if I were to do that situation again these days,
Yeah.
probably, oh man, if I made it to 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon without much back pain, I'd probably be in great shape. So what was it like?
As far as like my just walking with the backpack
Yeah.
and all.
Well,
You know,
just back pain.
well, yeah. I mean,
Sitting-
no, the back pain was fine. I mean,
Yeah.
I have lost a little bit of weight, so I don't have this gigantic. I mean, I have a gigantic barrel in front of me, but it's not as big as it used to be. So that has definitely helped. And I had tennis shoes. I mean, I was seeing people walking around flip flops and stuff. I'm like,
Oh
dude, you're
God,
dead.
no.
Yeah, you will not make it. I mean, we're walking miles. So just a good pair of tennis shoes, I think, is key. And yeah, I don't like the way fishing, like I don't like the way I look with tennis shoes on. If I'm like wearing a fishing shirt and decent looking khakis, but I was like, you know what, I am going for practicality as opposed to.
Oh, you have to. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, there's the tip for the night. Tennis
Yep.
shoes.
Yep.
Tennis
If
shoes
you're
at
going to
Disney
Disney.
World.
Absolutely.
I wonder if old Patrick Mahomes wore tennis shoes while he was out at Disney World.
It was
I
funny because we were there. He had just he was there the Monday before.
Yeah.
So what a badass! That kid
yeah.
is amazing,
He
and
is.
literally could change the NFL. And God knows it needs to be changed. I mean,
Well, I
he
hope
is a
he.
role model for the world.
I mean, I hope he brings something back to Tech.
Yep. Yep. I mean, if there's a university, a football program out there that could use a little help after everything that we've gone through and continue to go through, and probably will continue to go through, we could use it.
Yeah, and we're not obviously if we are, we're terrible at it, or we're not in the cheating mode, unlike some schools in our conference. That's blatantly obvious.
Mm-hmm.
I won't name in several sports.
Mm-hmm. But the one particular in between Dallas and Austin, but no big deal.
See if we get any hate voicemails on that. Speaking of, remember, folks, we want to hear from you. So if you don't agree with what we just said, but I don't see how you can't, give us a shout on voicemail. Go to feedbandit.com/show, or actually, no, we got a direct URL to that. That's feedbanditpodcast.com, and that'll take you to where you can drop us a voicemail and let us know what you think about, football and basketball, men's basketball, and women's basketball at a certain school.
Well, hey, Tech
up to the point for so long has been
number 3.
Well, baseball, yeah. I mean, that's hey, and speaking of, just real quick, where I was the week before, and I was in Vegas, and I told you this.
Yeah.
I tried to put down a bet on Tech winning the baseball College World Series.
Okay.
Evidently, it's way too early to do that. So no, they haven't opened the betting as far as that goes yet. So I was denied that. But
okay, I thought you did it for football.
Oh no, that was the College World Series. Yeah.
Okay, because I mean that's a real possibility for that football.
No, I was gonna put down just like $20 on Tech winning the Big 12. I wasn't gonna go all the way to the national championship. But you never know. Weirder things have happened. So
Yeah, no, I think a safer bet would be like 4-game winning season. That would be, yeah.
oh, actually, make a bowl game.
Oh God, okay, the toilet bowl. Oh my God, just to make that would be great. All right, let's get off of that subject because I'm starting to starting to go down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see what we want to talk about tonight. We an interesting, I guess, controversial subject. You know more about it than I do.
Yes.
I would have never thought it would have been controversial, other than the obvious reasons that any kind of hunting is controversial.
Right.
But,
of course.
I don't know. You wanna take it from there?
Yeah. I think the kind of on our little controversial series, one of the types of hunting that's real controversial. It's controversial. Is that it?
Yeah.
Contraceptive. Okay. Is called hog dogging, and it is obviously with the feral hog population in Texas and in the Deep South in general. And the fact that we're from the South and we're just kind of crazy like that. Hog dogging has become a real big, has become very popular. I kind of relate it to noodling. Noodling for catfish has blown up as well.
I never heard of that till probably
the hog,
or even after noodling until after college, probably.
Yeah, that I tell you what, I will do anything outdoors, but I mean, can you?
No, I don't want to do that.
Oh God, there's no way. Because knowing my luck, I will put my fist directly into the mouth of a snapping turtle that was born in 1929, and who is just gonna cut my freaking hand right off.
Grab a water moccasin or something.
Oh God.
Yeah,
there's no way. There's no way. But yeah, hog dogging has become really, really popular. And so for those of y'all who are not familiar with it, really what they basically do is you get a bunch of fellas out there, and you've got dogs that go out there and actually track the hogs and find them and kind of bay them, if you will, bay the hog, which means just kind of keep it there. And they use hounds, and in Texas they use blue lacies, which is the state dog of Texas, by the way. And again, they kind of bay the dog. Then they send the pit bull in there, and the pit bull is the one that really kind of attempts to subdue the hog. Is kind of what I've heard. Yeah, there's different ways of doing it, different techniques and dogs and all that. And then you go in with either a gun or a knife, and I think knife's the preferable way, and stab that dude right in the heart. And then that's it. So yeah, there's just
there's
million.
A lot to go over there.
Oh God, I mean, Peter,
I counted,
oh my God.
Yeah, I counted possible. Well, I don't know. I can hear it from the other side. Animal cruelty on both sides.
Oh, absolutely.
Hog and dog, but maybe more dog because people are more familiar with dogs.
Of course.
But maybe not. Maybe because they don't realize how dangerous a hog can be. So maybe they wouldn't be that. Right. I don't know. And then, and then of course, okay, you go in there with a knife. Oh, well,
yeah.
Either it's, wow, that person's insane. I mean, I could probably make that argument. Trying to tackle a hog, I would imagine.
Oh God, I couldn't imagine. I think tackling a hog, tackling 120 to 150 pound hog equates to like me and you trying to would tackle like a Big 12 linebacker,
right?
Or it just they are so
a running back.
or a running back. They are so built and so muscular and tough that you just you're it ain't gonna happen. But it actually is crazy. Talking about the time of the age that we're living in. About the things that people get concerned about, that the human is probably the least of their concerns. So well, I don't care if that stupid redneck gets killed, by some hog. He deserves it. But yeah, it's become a real popular way of hunting hogs. And apparently it's pretty effective. But obviously the dangers to both types of dogs, the pits and the baying dogs, and then of course to the human are it's huge. Not to mention also the fact that it's pretty disruptive to habitats and in the hunting area. So this, I know hog dogging is something that a lot of folks do typically in the off season because you make so much damn noise, you scare everything within 2 counties of what's going on. So,
Well, I can
but
only imagine. I mean, all the
think,
barking and
oh God, all the barking, and then you got all these
pig
rednecks.
squealing, the
Yeah,
rednecks yelling. Probably. I don't know. Do they have whistles out there? Or I don't know. What do they do?
Well,
I mean,
yeah. So what they do is a lot of them have collars. So they'll either do it the old-fashioned way and just run after them. But a lot of the dogs have got these tracking collars now to where they'll just they'll go to a real hoggy area, release the dogs, and then once the dogs have bayed a hog, they will start barking, and then it'll trigger the collar, and then of course the humans come running in. So. Back when hog dogging became real, when it was starting to kind of in its infancy, if you will, the dogs really didn't have a lot of protection. And my earliest, and this was a decade ago, my earliest seeing YouTube videos and stuff about hog dogging was really it was more just getting the hog bayed and then held up, and then the guy will come in with a shotgun or a crazy enough a knife. Nowadays they've added the pit bull in there, and of course the pit bull is can be ferocious. I mean, they have a terrible rep, but now you should see the armor they have on these dogs. It's unbelievable.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, I think I might have seen a video of this a while back, but yeah, I mean if the dog gets up there that close to that hog, and the hog's going to be, like any animal, if it's cornered, it's going to defend itself.
Oh yeah.
And hogs, you always see, and it's happened to me. Like a hog's natural instinct is to charge, the threat basically, or whatever. So I can only imagine the damage that would be done to a pit bull or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw and I'll try to find a picture. Well, I mean, God, you can go to the websites now, and they make full body armor suits. I mean, kind of these some of the pictures I saw, these these pit bulls look like umpires. They got all this stuff up front around their throat. Basically, it's a shield that it's kind of like a reverse cowboy collar. It's what I saw, for the old football days. And, but it covers their throat and all that, because you got to think about when a dog goes for it, if that hog goes to swipe at him with his mouth, to use its tusks to defend itself, if it hits that dog in the jugular, he's done.
Oh right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it is very it is very controversial. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, and I don't know how effective it is either. I think one of the problems is, and I'm not against it. I think it's fine. You do what you want to, and I think as long as you protect your dogs and treat them well, that's really all I care about. And of course, humanely dispatch that hog as quickly as possible. I would say my only thing against it, in my opinion, would be, from a management standpoint, really trying to effectively eliminate a lot of the hogs in your area, which, of course, as we've talked about, you'll never fully get rid of them all, is the fact that, going in there can be so disruptive, it's so loud and just whatever, that you'll probably blow those hogs into the next county.
Yeah.
And you just kind of
deer.
Yeah, and the deer, yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Let's say you're doing I don't know, some sort of supplemental program, and you've been working on it really hard. Maybe you have food plots and you got feeders around, blah blah, and you're doing what you can to grow some good deer and keep them into your property and whatnot. And then you come through and you do something like that. I mean, I wonder what that would do to any progress that you may have made.
Yeah,
no, I mean?
Yeah.
Because if it scares the deer off, I mean, I wonder what will they come back, or I mean?
No, I think that's a really good point. I had a biologist I talked to one time, and I think you know who I'm talking about, who one time told me that deer have a very short memory. Yep. He says that because we were talking about, we feel like we're shooting too many deer at this blind, and gosh, there's so many target animals coming to this particular stand. Are we going to shoot this blind? Are they going to go nocturnal on me? And he said, no. Deer typically don't have they have a real short memory. And I never did much I never studied it afterwards, but I don't know if it would be the same, in a situation like that, where, if you blow the deer out there, would they come back? I can tell you that if you got a person out there who's really managing for deer, and that's what they really want to do, I would think that they would trap the hogs or try to shoot them as opposed to just going into a deer's bedding area trying to bay a hog and go crazy.
Right.
Because
then you're going to leave all the scent everywhere. That's a popular long-term bedding area.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. Well, and I also think there's a risk, both to the dogs and to, some of the native animals of maybe running dogs through prime deer habitat, when there's fawns on the ground. A lot of the dogs are, I know like with quail dogs and dogs in general, they try to break them from deer, especially quail dogs are out there moving, they spook a deer, whereas like I've heard with beagles and they're out there hunting rabbits, those damn things will run to their dead chasing the deer. But what would concern me is that, again, if you're managing for deer and you're and the fawns are starting to drop, I sure as hell don't want a bunch of crazy dogs blowing through, potential fawn habitat and killing the fawn.
Right.
So that's something to think about.
You mentioned quail. I mean,
turkeys.
You go through there, turkey and quail. If you're managing that, something like that. Same. Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. No. So, but. I do know people that do it. I know it's real popular in the South, and I know it's popular in East Texas as well. So, I'd be curious. I'm sure we've got some listeners that have done it, and we'd love to hear from you. What are your experiences with it? I actually watched a hunting show, I think it was a year ago, where instead of a pit bull, they used a Great Dane.
Wow.
Which was, they were doing it. It was in Texas. They were doing it at night, and they send the Great Dane out there, gorgeous, like whoa, whoa, and then they put the spotlight. I'm like, deer. Oh no, that's a Great Dane. Okay. Huge, right. Absolutely huge. And I was kind of wondering how effective is using a Great Dane who's so tall, and the pigs are a little squatty. So, but who knows.
Now that was for just snuffing them out and running them up, and then for everything.
I think he was kind of an all-in-one type thing. I think he was kind of a bay dog and a keep still dog. Try to keep the animal still so you can get in there and kill it. But it was fascinating.
Now, do you have any desire to go out there with a knife and?
I really don't, just because I can see myself falling on said knife, But I would love to go. I'd love to go
watch.
Home. Oh yeah, God,
yeah, I'd love to do that too. That's fascinating.
And an ATV, absolutely.
Yeah, and an ATV, and your off-road rascal.
Yeah, oh God, absolutely. Yeah, we're like drive over there. Oh no doubt.
Yeah, okay. Well, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, it'd be interesting to hear from some of our listeners if they've been part of, one of those hunts. Let us know kind of what you think about it. Leave us a voicemail.
Yes, please. Please. That'd be really interesting.
And it'd be awesome, cool. I mean, we ought to find someone to talk to who does it. I mean, I guess there's I don't know if you call them outfitters. Maybe there are outfitters.
I'm sure there are. Oh, yeah.
But I mean, the people who will actually come and do it. I mean, so I don't know if there's. I'm sure there's organized companies and stuff. Yeah. We need to find one and bring them on.
And that's a really good point that you bring up. As much damage and trouble as feral hogs have cost to the state of Texas, they have also created a lot of jobs, and they've boosted the economy in some ways. You said something very interesting. Traditionally the way to you could book a hunt to go, hunt hogs as a feeder. Well, now with the coming of age of hog dogging, of helicopter hogs, and then kind of the new thing that's really gotten big are using these night vision AR-15s.
Oh yeah.
Which let me tell you, if you've not seen this on YouTube, check it out. It is God. It is fantastic.
I cannot stop laughing, or
Yeah.
I don't know why it's like it makes me like giddy to constantly laugh watching.
It is just carnage. My favorite one. And when you type in, night or thermal vision hog hunting, it's one of like the top 10 on the first page of YouTube. Is the one where they've got it's a little scary. They're clearly at a cattle feed yard. It's in somewhere in Texas, and they've got there's like 20 hogs in there, and you can see them mingling amongst the cattle. Well, the hogs eventually kind of move off, and the shooters get within. Yeah, I don't probably 50 yards. Oh God, it is just bad news. And the hogs are running everywhere as hog guts are blown everywhere, and the hogs are hitting the pins. They're and of course the cattle are like, "Sweet Jesus, what is going on?"
Another good one to look out, or good ones to look out there for, are the night vision with suppressed but shooting coyotes.
Oh God, yes. Oh yes.
You can get a lot of good tips on coyote hunting, kind of from some of the things they do, and like when they'll make the noises to stop them, or they'll try get their attention to kind of going back to our last podcast we were talking about. I think it was the last one when I shot that one, but I mean, yeah, those are great too.
Oh yeah. My favorite one, similar type deal. It's a cattle operation, and this I think this is in the. I think it's always like in Nebraska or Kansas, but they've got a kind of a death pen, if you will, and it's where their cattle, like when they have cattle that die, they just move them over in the corner. Of course, God, the guys light up their thermals, and there's just billions of coyotes out there, and they're just pounding them as they're eating on these bloated, nasty cow carcasses. So, it's definitely worth watching. Speaking of coyotes, the month of February is good for predator hunting because this is when the coyotes are starting to have their pups.
Oh yeah.
So the pup in distress call can be pretty effective. Early March, April, things of that nature. It is also, you might notice this, a little factoid for you about February. It is also the skunks breeding season as well. Oh. So when you are traveling the great state of Texas, or really anywhere, you will see an uptick on dead skunk carcasses. It is actually incredible. So take notice. And not I think it's worth mentioning, skunks are a predatory animal in the fact that they eat eggs, okay, they eat ground nesting birds and all that kind of stuff. So they're a problem for quail, they're a problem for turkeys and whatnot. So let me tell you, if you want something fun to do, get your fellers or your fellas, the whatever, girls and boys, and head out there with a shotgun and some bag of shells. And get your buddy on the front of your Jeep or your truck or whatever it may be, and go spotlighting for skunks at night in February. It's again, they're everywhere. We have not done it in quite a while, but I remember when we used to do it. There were times we'd kill 5 in the night. It's again, you're not going to be able to eliminate them all, but to kind of keep them in check is a good thing.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Full of tips tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we keep you on the payroll.
And Yeah, House of I Disney World, skunk removal, yeah, all kinds of fun stuff.
Awesome. Well,
So,
just going back to the helicopter hog hunting deal. One of my buddies, Chris, uh,
yeah.
got done doing that about, I don't know, maybe a month ago or so. So I was talking to him, and man, that is awesome. That's something we need to do. But maybe we'll bring him on, and he can tell us all about it.
Oh, heck yeah.
That would be so fun.
Oh.
Those are great videos to watch too on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. They
more lead.
Oh, yeah, golly. That is so much fun.
How do you kill the hogs?
Yeah. You just lead them more. Like guys over there just dry heaving. Yeah, I love it.
All right.
Yeah.
What? Well, that was a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hope everyone out there, enjoyed that discussion and got something from it. Again, I just want to remind everybody, call in, leave us a voicemail and a question or a comment or whatever, and we'll address it on the podcast and even play it if it's more or less clean.
Yes.
But don't keep it too PG. PG-13 will work.
Yeah.
But so go to feedbanditpodcast.com, and that'll take you to the page where you can record your voicemail, and we look forward to hearing from everybody out there. Other than that, there's going to be a slightly different exit to this podcast today, because this week I was informed that our phone number in order to text in to join our email list and get all the fun stuff and tips and tricks and whatnot. That number was changed on us, and so now you need to text still the word bandit, but you need to text the word bandit to 33777, and that'll get you on the email list. Allow you to join us up, and you can get the things that we send out, and we're working on a lot of good stuff to send out. So you want to be sure to get on that list for whenever we release that stuff for you. So again, text the word bandit to 33777 to join the list. And I guess so. I got to go back and remix another outro. So I haven't done that yet. So until I do that, we got to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I wonder why they changed it. Did they let us know about that?
Yeah, I got an email about it, so that's why.
That's good.
So I went in and messed with it.
At least it's not like 1-900. Do they still have 900 numbers?
Shoot, I have no idea. It was a good question for late in the night to figure out.
Yeah, I might dial one tomorrow just for the fun of it.
And you can let everyone know on the next podcast.
Yeah, it's like, so I called some chick in Serbia, and yeah.
It probably would go to some Eastern European.
Most likely. Yeah.
All right, folks. Thanks for listening in to this episode of the Feed Bandit podcast. We really appreciate it. And don't forget to leave us a voicemail at feedbanditpodcast.com. With that, everyone out there, have a good one. Oh, and don't forget to support your local feed store.
Yeah.